Hi, my name's Sasha Moore, and I'm delighted to be here with Mel Sawyer from Down to Earth Mortgage Broking. So great to see you, Mel.
Hey, good to be here.
So Mel and I were just having a little chat offline now about what this webinar was going to be about, and also I should say what this interview was going to be about, and the various lens of authenticity. So in a nutshell, what I'm doing is speaking to various people from industry about what makes their true authentic self in the lead up to the webinar that we're holding next week on the 18th of October, The Power of Authenticity. So I'm very aware that this notion of authenticity is quite elusive and it means something different to every single person, which is hence why I'm interviewing people. And Mel, I think I might have just thrown you off your guards a little bit when I gave you my synopsis of you, and then how you may or may not embrace that in your professional world. But before we play that game and we revisit that, I would love to understand a little bit more about how you connect to yourself, how you feel confident, how you be authentically you, and how much of that, particularly as a broker, is your day. So in terms of other people's expectation, whether you're able to really cut through that perception of what you think they might want from you and how you act in your own shoes, in your own voice, as your authentic self. Oh, you've just frozen. We'll wait till you come to.
Oh.
There we're back.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't know whether it was a stunned silence or whether.
Yeah, I just okay. Exited. I can't do this.
You're like, I'm exiting stage left. Like this crazy lady is a bit too much.
Sorry, I have no other browsers open, so I thought we were good.
All right. So as I was just saying, so you've been one who always embraced your authenticity. So just walk me through that and what that looks like for you.
Well, I'm very frank. Yeah, I always say things how they are. I could definitely work on my delivery a bit better sometimes. My close friends do say to me that they really appreciate it though, and they always know where they stand, or they're never left guessing. So yeah.
I think that's a really, really interesting point, because I do think that that's one of the challenges of being authentic. And, when we were first starting to chat, we were talking about, is authenticity something that you've always really found yourself comfortable being, or there's no other option for you to be that? And, with that gift, also it's a challenge, because then you do have to manage the delivery. And I find I'm a very direct person as well. And I find that quite often people are pulling me up in my delivery. And I have to sort of check myself sometimes in terms of, have I been too blunt, or how do I manage my approach to make sure that the message is received?
Me too, and I think it's a long term. You find your groove, and professionally, I think I do it quite well, and personally, within friendships, I do it pretty bloody well, because otherwise I'd have no friends. But it's something I will always need to work on, because it's just like a strong personality trait. I think maybe part of my Aries star sign. I stick up for myself.
Oh, and you've just frozen again.
Others who
so you're just saying you just froze. That's okay.
Oh no.
So you were just saying that you stick up for yourself.
Yeah, I stick up for myself, or if I think someone else needs a voice or needs a hand, yeah, you could really say I go into battle for them, for myself. Yeah, not one to back down, and not one who's afraid, even to my own detriment at times. Oh dear.
But that happens, right? If you're invested, you can't well, I find I can't be half invested. I'm either completely invested or not invested. So I think that that's also a challenge, right? When I expect, particularly being a broker and also managing situations that aren't necessarily always in your control, that you do know you do have the ability sort of to pull back and tap out of that and not get as frustrated.
Yeah, it's much easier in work.
Exactly. But, we were just also just talking just now about, just the more interviews I do about this, the more interesting it is in terms of just reading someone of who they are in terms of just their personal demeanor and sort of trying to tap into who they are and their authentic self. And I think that there is such a correlation, as we were just talking about, to really know who you are and to actually own that you're direct, but also to own that perhaps sometimes the delivery can be misinterpreted. It really does help attract a similar type of person to you. But then equally, even if that person isn't similar and you are a little bit whatever we're calling it, I feel like as long as your intention is actually genuine and it's collaborative and it's positive and it's really to serve that person, I find that I get a bit more leeway in terms of my approach. How do you find, Mel, even if somebody is not sort of the same personality type to you, with that directness, but knowing that you're on their side, does that soften their receptiveness to how that's delivered?
Oh, for sure. Whenever I'm meeting someone, I'm going to connect with them immediately, either through my personality with my humor, or generally my humor, or on some level of compassion. And that's both professionally and personally. So yeah, the delivery, if it's a sad situation or a tough situation or a happy and silly fun one, um, yeah, I find it really easy to connect with someone. And that's why it's good to be myself, because I get a stronger connection and usually can build rapport really fast.
Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head in terms of the upside of authenticity, because I feel like being authentic and being who you are immediately strikes a much stronger connection, a much greater trust. And also professionally, I would expect confidence in your ability to deliver to a solution. And we were just talking now that this loan's not going exactly to plan, but you are tenacious about it and you are passionate about it, and but equally having that compassion in terms of how you're approaching it really is the essence of, I would expect, how you do business, as well as one of the founding principles of why you're succeeding. And I guess to that note, I've also just sort of realized the connection between everything we've been talking about and then the name of your company being Down to Earth Mortgages. So, you actually called your company in an exactly true and representative way of your authentic ethos.
Yes, well, I did try about 100,000 names, and my good friend Leah helped come up with that one.
No, I love it. Well, Mel, I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you, and I really love how much you own your humor and your directness. And polished is highly overrated. People far prefer a genuine encounter rather than a polished delivery any day of the week. So I say to that, hats off to being direct, hats off to being authentic, and hats off to not always getting the delivery right, but always having the intent first and foremost. I look forward to seeing you on the 18th, Mel.
Thank you, Sasha.